Hey guys, what's up? This is Studio X News. I have got some things hot off the press that maybe, I don't know how many of you have seen out there, but let's get right down to it because this is your Kings of the East, and if you would like, go ahead and get the study by Pastor Murray, Kings of the East, so maybe you can, I'm sure a lot of you already know it, but just redo it again. Redoing doesn't hurt. This is big news. This is your Kings of the East concerning the river Euphrates. This is biblical. This is very important. Turkey to launch military operations in North Syria. Turkish President Erdogan, however you say his name, Erdogan something, he has said Turkish army will soon launch a military operation east of the river Euphrates in Syria. The region is mainly controlled by U.S.-backed Kurdish-led militia. There's a picture. Turkey will launch air and ground military operations in Syria in the next 2 days in a region east of the river Euphrates, mainly held by U.S.-backed Kurdish militia that considers terrorists. Turkish President's recap, Erdogan said on Saturday, "We've made our preparations. We finalized our operation plans, given the necessary instructions," he told members of his ruling party at an annual camp. It is, I'm just going to call him Erdogan's, I don't know how to say his name, most concrete suggestions of a military intervention in the region since Ankara and Washington's decided to establish a safe zone, which they haven't yet, on Syrian border that Turkey says should be cleared of the Syrian Kurdish militia. Ankara sees the YPG as linked with the Kurdish insurgency within Turkey and wants Washington to stop its support for them. Washington, in its turn, sees the Kurdish forces as vital in the fight against extremists Islamic State group. Moving on to a next article, and I'll check to make sure that you guys can see this along with me. I will also post these in the description below. U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces have warned that they are ready to defend their territories in northern Syria should Turkey follow through with its plans for invasion. Now, I've backed up a couple days because I've missed this, so I'm bringing this to you. I'm going to go down the line that brings us up today. The SDF on Saturday said it would not hesitate to turn any unprovoked Turkish attack into an all-out war. The Syrian pro-government news website Al Masdar News said. Okay. The statement came from the Kurdish umbrella organization. Came shortly after Turkish President Recep on Saturday said Turkey will soon launch an air and ground military operation into North Syria targeting the U.S.-backed Kurdish militia. Moving on. This video, let me see, you can see it. Move this over a little bit. Has no sound, but this shows you visually that they are moving towards the Syrian border. There is no sound to this, unfortunately. I thought something might have been wrong with my computer, but it doesn't have any sound. I think either somebody recorded this or it's, I don't know, it doesn't have any sound. But you can see the movement. Here you go. This gives us a visual that they are moving. The Kings of the East are moving. The river Euphrates is a big biblical border that separates us from the Kenites. So that's something very important you need to watch. Here we go. SDF. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Sometimes it kind of goes a little wonka juju. Let's see. Here we go. SDF warns of an all-out war if Turkey invades northern Syria. The U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces have warned that they are prepared to defend their territories in northern Syria should Turkey attempt to invade. In a statement released on Saturday, the Syrian Democratic Forces warned that they will not hesitate to turn any unprovoked Turkish attack into an all-out war. Moving on today, this was just published. And I will move this so you guys can see it. Turkey pushes U.S. to let it take over eastern Syria. The goal of Turkey is to pressure the U.S. when the U.S. is distracted by domestic politics. Isn't that funny how that all works out? Distraction, bullcrap. Who knows what's really going on with this Trump thing. Anyways, it's just a distraction. So moving on. Turkey again threatened to invade eastern Syria on Saturday in a speech where President Recep Mr. E said that the country was ready for a military option. Ankara makes this threat every 2 weeks to get its concessions from the U.S. In late July, it made the same threat and got the U.S. to agree to a security mechanism where Turkey is allowed to patrol parts of the eastern Syria with troops. Now Ankara wants more. Of course, they always want more. The goal of Turkey is to pressure the U.S. when the U.S. is distracted by domestic politics. It uses Syria every few weeks as leverage because it knows that since the spring of 2018, U.S. President Donald Trump has sought to draw down U.S. forces in Syria. Trump announced a withdrawal in December 2018, but that was put on hold when its general noted that if the U.S. withdrew... Whoa, what happened to my screen? That... Wow. Let me see if I can... It's like going crazy here. The generals noted that if the U.S. withdrew, ISIS would likely launch a resurgence, which is probably true. The U.S. has worked with the Syrian Democratic Forces in a group initially made up of mostly Kurdish fighters in eastern Syria. The SDF defeat ISIS in Raqqa, Manbijib something, and eventually near the Euphrates in March 2019, ridding Syria of the scourge of the extremists. This was a costly campaign, and the SDF sacrificed thousands with the hope that the U.S. would remain in eastern Syria to help rebuild and stabilize the area. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the description below so you guys can check this out for yourself. Keep your eyes on the river Euphrates. Do the study The Kings of the East with Pastor Murray. This is happening. At the same time, you got to remember we have the Gulf states in talks right now with Israel over a peace deal, although the Gulf states don't want to sign a formal agreement. That's kind of scaring them off because they don't want to be held down to anything. They said that basically as they sit right now, a verbal agreement is better than a formal signed agreement. But you watch what happens. Israel, something's going to happen somewhere, and it's going to probably cost the lives of about 50,000 people because they want to get this system in at all costs. It doesn't matter. Something's going to happen within the next few days, week, I don't know, to force the hand of the Gulf states to sign that agreement. Something's going to happen. Look here, folks, we're coming up on that time. Keep your eyes open and watching Jerusalem, Israel. Watch that river Euphrates. Watch what our enemies are doing. Watch where the Kenites are going, the kings of the east. Grab the study. Do it again. Because, wow, it makes a lot more sense in these days than it did the last... Well, okay, I've been going over it for like 2 weeks. But anyways, every time I go over it, it's relating more and more to current history as we speak. Folks, time is near. Okay? Keep your eyes open. Watchmen watch. This is Studio X News. Reporting the news as it happens. I'm working hard. I'm up all hours of the day. I barely can sleep anymore because things are happening so fast. Again, it's your girl Amber with Studio X News. You know what I'm going to say. I'm out of here.